Welcome to a new daily top Askreddit video. Today's topic: what happened at your work which caused multiple people to all quit at once? They laid off half the company with no warning. This included a gentleman who was less than a year from retirement and had been there for 35 plus years. The company was shocked when half the remaining people abandoned ship shortly thereafter. At previous and final employer they did a round of layoffs. Now this is Europe, so you need a reason to fire people with a contract, and they said it was for economic reasons. So naturally, like rats on a ship, a massive exodus began. Everyone was looking for a new job. Management didn't expect this, so a month and a half later, they released their Christmas speech, calling for fresh young talent, and asking people to stick together like family when they fired 30 people just 6 weeks ago. Come January, the second wave of the exodus was well underway. This one happened mid-January. It got really awkward when they tried calling back the people that they'd laid off to replace the people who had left. The company consistently outpaced competing firms and found itself emerging as one of the industry-leading agencies. This was also a California tech firm, so shorts, flip-flops, beers at lunch, smoking on the roof were all rather common. But we were rapidly growing, and the atmosphere/location made us a hot ticket for talent. Anyway, CFO and CMO cashed out and the CEO decided to totally remodel the company by making it far more corporate. On top of all of this, they implemented unattainable goals and removed our work from home policy. The final straw was they removed our rather generous vacation policy and replaced it with unlimited vacation, which was a facade for you can take as much vacation as you want if we approve it. Like a quarter of the company quit and immediately landed at better jobs. Also profit tanked. Unlimited vacation is such a scam. When a company gives limited vacation time, they have to pay you for days you accrued but didn't take when you leave the company. Unless they give unlimited vacation. In that case, they don't have to give you shit. The only time I was ever denied vacation is when I worked for a company with unlimited vacation time. Fuck that. I worked at an unlimited PTO place for a while. At first it was actually really good. As long as you were getting your shit done, nobody really cared. I took a week for my wedding and 2 for my honeymoon within the span of a couple months, plus another trip later in the year for a long weekend, plus a few sick days. Every year, it got a little worse. Then the recommendation became 3 weeks a year. Then it started being not a good time to take a day. Then I got in legit trouble for taking 2 days to catch up on doctor and dentist visits, and was asked to space them out next time. Now I work for the government. 15 days vacation plus 1 day for each year of service, caps at 14 years, and 12 sick days a year. No complaints. Edit, I also get 10 paid holidays. This is local government, not federal. Edit 2, geez this blew up. I was getting married and let the company know 6 months in advance. Oh I don't need to know right now, just ask closer to that date. Hey, I need days coming up next month. Sorry, someone else requested those days so we need you here. Fuck off. Our company is doing incredible, let's change everything. Task failed successfully. Or our company is doing incredible. What can we do to thank our staff for our 6th year of over 10% growth? When people wanted them to fix our broken bonus system, or give us actual raises. Really? Money is all you guys care about. Restructure of the way we're paid. What I used to do involved about 40% client interaction, 20% team forward/co-worker interaction, and 40% paperwork and case coordination stuff. Based on what we do that means only 40% of the time is technically billable, and there are really sticky rules for what is and isn't billable. So, logically, we were being paid on a salary model. Q management saying we can only make money for the time we have that is actually billable. A quarter of the department quit. 2 of us on the same day. Wait, why is paperwork and case coordination not billable? It's the healthcare field. Only direct client contact can be billed to insurance. Turned out our owner was keeping the social security money taken from our paychecks. And yes, he was caught. Edit, holy crap this blew up. Owner is just a term for owner of the company. I don't mean anything by it. You can pull that scam for about 4 to 5 years, really insane the lack of communication between the IRS and SS. Can confirm, I used to withhold taxes for babysitters for my kids, because you're required to if they are over 18. Had a payroll service to do all of the calculations, gave them pay stubs, the whole nine. 4 years after I stopped doing this, I get a letter from SSA stating that they never received one quarterly filing for one of my kids' former babysitters and would I please forward it along. They gave me a summary of the reported wages. They were close, but off by a few bucks in either direction for the years before and after the one they were missing. I dug out the documents and found out that the reason for the confusion was that the payroll company accidentally filed on the previous year's form, pre-printed year on the side. I called SSA where they basically just said don't worry about that, we just need a number, the IRS is terrible about providing the totals to us. So I gave it to them verbally, they wrote it down and I haven't heard from them since. The owner died and his idiot son took over and decided that the company didn't make him enough money and started to implement cost-cutting measures like turning off the A/C in the building. Let me guess, 2 people are working on this. Why not use one person for half the cost? Why not just use half a person at a quarter the cost? My work does something similar. The air is turned off from about 5 p.m. to 7 a.m. It takes until noon for the air systems to clear out the overnight moisture and stale air, so we are left with a couple hours of useful A/C. It makes no sense. The thing probably runs 10 hours straight from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. so it's working just as hard as if you balanced it out for 24 hours. People that make these decisions don't have a brain, I swear. We do something similar for the non-24/7 areas. For our standard offices the air/heat is on 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. We open at 8 so it runs for 2 hours to get the place going, then runs 1 hour after closing in case people are staying late. Normal operational temps are 65 to 75*F. Then on off hours it's allowed to go 55 to 85*F. So chilly and hot but not frozen or scorching. Our 24/7 areas, NOC, of course get it 24/7. When I was 16, I worked in the concessions stand at a minor league baseball stadium. Minimum wage at the time was $5.15/hour. This job paid $8, and it was always in the evenings so it was perfect work for a high school student. The only bad thing was our management was terrible. The main manager would throw toddler tantrums about once a shift over stupid bullshit, like not ordering enough of a specific beer, she did the ordering, or running out of pre-cut lemons for tea. One night the stadium was running a promotion and it was incredibly busy, easily 2 to 3x the normal volume of customers. We were all working our asses off handling multiple roles each with absolutely no downtime. Although we all cleaned as we worked, nobody had a chance to do thorough cleaning for the whole shift because of the never-ending horde of hungry baseball fans. The manager showed up 3 to 4 hours late per usual and throws the biggest fucking tantrum ever over the use-wept floor. Finally, she announces, "Listen up you lazy fucks. Minimal work gets minimal pay. Everybody is being paid minimum wage tonight because you slobs won't clean up anything." Both of our bartenders and the bar back quit on the spot, which caused a chain reaction. We all took off our aprons and hats to leave. She blocked the exit and was red in the face from screaming, so one of the cooks climbed out of one of the big serving windows where we served customers, so I did the same and most of the staff followed. Bear in mind that this all happened in front of like 200 plus customers. Of course, my final paycheck got lost so I had to file a wage theft complaint with the Texas Workforce Commission. How'd that wage theft complaint go down? Sounds like it'd be super satisfying just to slip the envelope into the letterbox. Filed the complaint, submitted my clock in and clock out receipts for the week, we got paid weekly, and previous pay stubs to verify my pay rate. After like 3 weeks, I was contacted by the person handling my claim that my previous employer had mailed me a check for the whole amount I was owed plus a penalty. The check arrived within a few days. The penalty was $25 IRC. Later that year, the same employer refused to provide my W-2 for tax filing so I filed a complaint with the IRS and used my pay stubs with a special form to complete my taxes. I don't know what happened regarding that, but that lady's life imploded for non-work related reasons. She got caught cheating on her husband, then got caught faking cancer for sympathy. Owners retired. They were literally the greatest people, both very sweet, but kept the place running like a well-oiled machine. They took pretty good care of us and their restaurant. When they left, they gave the restaurant over to their nephew who at the time was a busboy /waiter, kind of standoffish, didn't really interact with us too much, a bit lazy at times, but for the most part did his shit and went home. He seemed okay. Until he got the power of being the owner. He fired 4 people, including 2 of the 4 cooks, and 2 of the 3 dishwashers, literally that same day, on a Friday night just before the dinner rush, all because he didn't like their attitude. He refused to allow people to take vacation that they'd already requested and gotten confirmed by the original owners, would change the schedule randomly without telling anyone and then scream at people when they missed a shift or came in late because of it. He'd refuse to replenish the kitchen until we were literally already out of things, then take forever to put in the orders. He showed up randomly and would drink at the bar, for free of course because he was the owner, and then bring in all his buddies to drink with him. Together they'd get way out of hand and grab at women and try to start fights. Within the first month of him being the owner, over half the staff had quit, usually walking out literally in the middle of their shifts. After being screamed at, they'd basically throw down their aprons and tell everyone else that they were so sorry but they couldn't do it anymore. After the last cook, this big dude who usually kept the kitchen laughing and running at a decent pace, started crying in the middle of his shift and dropped everything he was doing after the boss came and yelled at him for being too slow and making slop, then walked out. The rest of us just bailed along with him. 4 months later the place was closed. His aunt and uncle were absolutely furious and devastated that he'd run the business they'd built up for over 30 years into the ground. That's really sad but sounds like a poor decision on the old owners. Who puts someone in a busboy position to such a high position without training and evaluation? If they knew they were retiring they should have begun to train him so he would be ready to take over, and if they would have realized he was ill-suited then they could have found someone to take over instead. I realized I forgot to add that one of the 4 people he fired initially was the senior manager who was supposed to show him what they hadn't, but being their nephew he did do extra stuff and they showed him what he should have been doing whenever they were there. Officially though his job was just being the busboy or waiter for a few years before this was decided. But on the whole they should not have just up and left to retire without giving him a few months in training wheels to make sure he could actually hack it. None of us thought he'd be like that though. When they reached out to try and find out what had happened, they moved out of state. They were absolutely horrified to hear how he behaved towards the staff, but by that point it was too late to do anything about it.